Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy Kool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. Oh, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means? It's time for your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. And no, artificial intelligence will not replace us, because how in the hell is AI going to be able to replace me and my two co-hosts? Ain't no way in the hell that's going to happen. But enough of that. I have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, from a wonderful nap, a power nap, if you will, the almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs, baseball, golf, wrestling, me wrestling with naps. What is going on? We here now, episode 202. Are you kidding me? And we're here together. Yeah. I tried to replace the other guy with AI, but
said some not so nice things about me last week when I was away. That's okay.
The technology is ancient. To replace ancient technology with this newfangled stuff, it's tough to do. It's really tough to do. You never know what you're going to get with the other guy. You know what? Just go ahead and introduce the other guy. There's no replacing him. We tried. We failed. Ta-da.
Dang, B-Live said we tried and we failed. First of all, who is we? All right, and
no. So okay, you know what? I thought we was in this together. We did very well last week, but okay.
We had fun, and all three of us are in this together. And the other guy, he is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, pound for pound, the meanest, leanest, toughest, thuggish, ruggish lunch lady in all of the Washington School District. He is the money man, Scottie D.
We are family. I got all my sisters and brothers and me.
We're boys.
Oh, the Bucks are going all the way, all the way, all the way. Said the Bucks are going all the way this year. Woo! The first place Pittsburgh Pirates doesn't even sound right coming out of my mouth. The first place Pittsburgh Pirates is gonna be a joke. Oh my gosh. I sure as heck hope May is half as good to the Buccos as April was, because we got baseball fever up here. Oh man, in cold, rainy Western Pennsylvania. But we also have draft fever these last couple of days. Everybody's really happy up here with the Steelers draft. They're excited. They got a big dude with a grill to protect Kenny Pickett. Did you see that the guy had himself a nice big grill, the gold teeth, whatever they call that thing?
Yeah. But the grill. Don't you know that the rapper Trick Daddy had to get some new teeth because he had his grill for like the past 25, 30 years. And he had to get like a whole new mouth. Just be mindful. Just use them for decorations, not for permanent, fixtures in your mouth. So you don't
I didn't
want
know people were still doing that. Are they still doing it?
Yep.
Are the rappers still doing it?
You're
a rapper. You rappers still you're still getting the grills?
Not like my teeth. I like people look at my teeth. And the thing about it is, their breath probably smell like straight ass and Hassenpfeffer. All right, no one has time for that. Have your stinking mouth. Anyway, Scottie D over here ranting and raving about the Pirates. B-Live is like, you know what? He thought the two-man trip was good, but we function better as three. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and stop BS and let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. The draft has come and gone. The guy I thought Carolina was going to get, they didn't get, but they got a guy. And then, fellas, there were some teams that hit. There were some teams that missed. And then there were some teams that had us like, huh? What the hell's going on? So, Scottie D, I'm going to ask you, man, out of this year's draft, 3 picks that made you go, what you do that for? What's up with that?
Well, I'll give you the one right at the top of the draft, and that was the Houston Texans trading to get the number 3 pick because they drafted a quarterback, C.J. Stroud, to be their franchise-changing quarterback. I mean, you got to have a lot of faith in a guy to take him that high on the out of any player that you could get. They could get any player they wanted except one. Carolina led off with Bryce Young and left C.J. Stroud for the Texans. I think they probably knew that. And then they traded a bunch of picks to get Will Anderson. And I didn't like that for the simple fact that if you're a team who needs everything, which it seems like Houston does, you're probably going to need some more picks to put some talent around this young quarterback. And they immediately went to defense, which, you know, that to me, he looks like he's going to be a great player, a great NFL player, but they spent a lot to get him. And Eddie, last week, when you and I were talking over the choices of voices draft stuff, I said, if I was Houston, I would take a really good defensive player at number 2 and then start a scrub at quarterback and tank the entire year. And then next year, you're going to be in line for number 1 and you get one of the 2 stud quarterbacks. Right now, everyone's looking at Caleb Williams, number 1, and May is probably the second quarterback pick next year. It's a draft that a lot of people are eyeballing already before going into this one. Having said that, they have already sold out on their quarterback. They gave Arizona what could be the number 1 pick of the draft next year. And another first, a third. It was a handful of picks. They gave him up some, a good little package of picks. But my point is, Stroud's not going to turn that team around next year. This time a year from now, they are going to need a lot. So my feeling was, take the defensive player, be terrible. You're going to be terrible anyway. And then next year, take a quarterback who I think is probably going to be better than the one you just selected. And now just to get that defensive player, they gave up a good bit. I think that was just a little bit much to give up for Will Anderson, who probably wasn't even considered the best player defensively in the draft because everyone liked the kid from Georgia who slid down to the Eagles. Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter. Yeah, he was probably considered the best defensive player in the draft. But Will Anderson seems to check all the boxes of being like the character guy and the strong presence. Obviously great player, but I thought that Houston that was a surprise to me to see them go all in on 2 picks right off the bat like that and kind of strip themselves of the first round going in next year. Be-Live, who was your surprise? Who was your head scratcher?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I agree slightly with what you say about Houston moving up, going back to back with the number 2 and the number 3 pick. But they wanted to make an immediate impact, and they have 2 players that could, on both sides of the ball, that are going to make they're going to anchor essentially what I said before, to both sides of the ball.
They sure as hell better.
They have to. They have to. I was like, ooh. I had headphones in because I was out and about working, about to start work. Looking at the NFL draft, I was like, ooh, Houston traded up. They're moving up. But the picks that surprised me more than anything, and I was very happy to hear it because I just don't like them. The number 8 pick from the Atlanta Falcons, really high for a running back. Bijan Robinson out of Texas going to the Atlanta Falcons. I was like, ew.
He's special, but that is high for running back.
High for everything is going away. Everything is trending away from running backs. But yeah, Bijan Robinson is that dude, and I think he's going to make. I think he's going to make a splash. But
Felt like Atlanta needed more, though, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that to me, that's to me, he seems more like a team that has a lot of pieces in place, and he's like maybe the guy that projects you forward a little bit. But I thought like Atlanta needs a lot more than that.
Running back, running back was the last thing I thought they were going to select first, but it is something they can work with, and they made that move. But then to turn around just a few picks afterwards, the Detroit Lions going with Jahmyr Gibbs. I was whoa.
The hell was all that about?
There's a reason teams go 0 for 57 in Super Bowls.
I was over here. I'm looking here, and I'm like, wait a minute. Don't y'all have like 3 good running backs already?
They did. Do you remember the momentum that team finished with last year? And their running back were part of it. I mean, they beat Green Bay on the road in a game that they had just learned they didn't need any longer. And they looked good. They looked good running the football at the end of last year. And they got rid of the 2 running backs that they had get them there. And then drafted one with the 12 overall. That's a big head scratcher. I agree with you, B.
I was over here like, wait a minute. And it almost like it doesn't make sense. Because they ended up trading, DeAndre Swift away to the Eagles after they picked up Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs will be a very good running back, but we're in a league that running backs are not as impactful, formidable as they once were. So to see 2 running backs go in the first 12 picks, would
think they could have maybe traded down and still got him.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody was looking for a running back.
Maybe they just didn't have a trade partner, but seemingly that was a reach, I thought, right there.
But then again, the Detroit Lions, they like to gamble. So, and speaking of gambling, I think they might need a wide receiver because 3 of their wide receivers are suspended for the foreseeable future. Good Lord. But you don't draft somebody because players are suspended. But man, I was like, interesting. Mm-hmm. Once the wide receivers get off of suspension, they might be a very, very dangerous team. I've been speaking highly of the Lions for years now. I think this is going to be, especially now that the whole mess of he that shall not be named is jet flying, limousine riding, ayahuasca taking,
dark room sitting,
son of not a gun. Y'all beat that out. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. This conversation. I think Detroit is primed. That's tough. Gambling. But second half of the season is going to be interesting. So, those 2 picks, running backs, definitely are in the picture. And then at the end of the day, my Panthers picking Bryce Young. They decided it's there. I can't talk trash anymore. He is who he's gonna be. We're gonna put a pedestal right there so he can see above the offensive line. He's short, it happens. But at the end of the day, the Panthers made their move to get who they wanted, to do what they do, because it'd be terrible if we didn't get who we wanted this year after all the moves that we made, going to be very interesting. I'm happy. I'm here. Keep pounding. And let's go, Bryce Young, QB1 for the Carolina Panthers. Eddy Kool, what say you?
I'm not going to lie. I do like the marketing of Bryce Young where they say the Bryce is right. I love it. I can't be mad at it. I can't be mad at it.
Before you continue, I'm so glad you said that. Stop with the marketing of the Bryce is right. I need everybody that was good. That was good.
Very.
But I need y'all to stop with Bryce up, son. Bryce, baby. Like I Bryce up, son hurt very deeply. It hurt. that hurt. So Bryce, no, that is Agent 89. That is Steve Smith. You're not no. And on top of that, after all the hype that Steve Smith put into DJ Moore, and we traded him away, and now you're gonna put no. My bad. I interrupted. I'm sorry. The Bryce is right. He's here. Go ahead.
So who do we get the second round? Be like, was it Brandon Mingo?
Yes.
Yeah. I heard somebody was like, "Yo,
I think it was
Jonathan Mingo." Yeah, Jonathan Mingo. They said he's pretty good. I think I'm like the rest of the country with the Detroit Lions. I get it. You lose Jamal Williams, the free agency to the Saints, so you have to fit. So you bring in David Montgomery. So okay, you still got your 1-2 punch of David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift. And then you go and get Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm like, wait, what you do that for? You're going to need some wide receiver. You're going to need something. And I didn't really quite understand it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jahmyr Gibbs is he's 5'9", 200 pounds, and he can get the job done, but it's kind of like, okay, well, you already have DeAndre Swift. When healthy, can be a top 10. Ooh, look at me. Can be a top 10 running back in the NFL. And so another thing I didn't understand, it ain't got a damn thing to do with draft picks. The Philadelphia Eagles, aka the University of Georgia at Philadelphia, and then they trade for DeAndre Swift. I'm trying to figure out what is going on. I think me and someone had a conversation at work the other day. Was like, look, I think the defense that they ran in Georgia, they try to run the same thing in Philadelphia, and I was like, that makes sense. Another befuddling pick for the Detroit Lions was Jack Campbell, because here it is, you got a linebacker, and he's not your typical linebacker, like a modern linebacker. He's more like a throwback linebacker. He's 6'5", 249 pounds, and they only had 3 career sacks in 43 games. Worthy of the first round pick? I think sometimes a lot of teams see things that we don't see. Because, we don't have access. I mean, we do have access to film like that, but we don't have access to film like that. It makes sense. So, the Lions, I'm just really trying to figure out, like, what's this moving all about, drafting this running back when you got a stable we got a stable backfield, and then drafting a linebacker that's kind of like, a middling at best linebacker. But, like you said, B-Live, Detroit is on the way up. They got a lot going on, and it'll be real interesting to see what the Lions do next season. Scott, go ahead.
I'll say, can I trigger someone though?
All right.
Can I trigger someone? Because
you're gonna poke the bell. You're gonna poke the bell.
They were one pick away from having a tight end. Dallas Cowboys, Scottie D. How do you feel?
I was a little angry at the time that it happened, because I think that this Dalton Kincaid from Utah is a guy that could be a real difference maker. He could be like I mean, it's unfair to compare somebody who has not played yet to someone like Kelsey or Gronk, but those are the kind of guys that help really take your offense to the next level. And I think that he can do that. And I think he will do that with Buffalo. But I sat there for 3 hours waiting for them to turn in the card and say his name. And Buffalo at the last second jumped in and scooped him. Now, you can criticize the Cowboys maybe for not being more aggressive and jumping up. But I think they were confident that if they didn't get him, that Mozzie Smith was going to be the guy that they were going to take. And I haven't heard otherwise that Mozzie was going to be their pick regardless. I haven't heard one way or the other, honestly. But Mozzie scares me because the Taco situation from a few years ago. When the Cowboys drafted Taco Charlton. And I remember watching, on draft night, they always show everybody's highlights immediately after they say a name. And I remember thinking, he looks bad on film. Well, Mozzie doesn't look quite that bad. And the Cowboys addressed a serious need because the Cowboys defense was pretty good last year, but they did give up a lot of rushing yards. So that's why he was brought in, and they re-signed Hankins. They made a 5th-round trade last year to get Hankins. So they are committing to stopping the run. But yeah, oh man, it would have been nice to have gotten. We were right there. We were right there to get Dalton Kincaid, and I yelled "damn" in my house, and probably upset my mother, who was ready to go to bed, that her son's in the other room yelling at a sport that's not even being played at this point in time. But yeah, that one did upset me. That did bother me.
Oh, but even better. This is something that made me chuckle very much. So it doesn't matter where I mentioned him earlier. The he that shall not be named, that ayahuasca taking, darkness sitting dude. They still didn't draft anything offensive.
Yeah,
nothing.
Good Lord, why can't?
Don't you think that maybe when the Packers were making the trade, they're like, all right, we're going to let you do this on one condition: you can't take any offensive players in the first couple of rounds. You have to just keep sticking it to this guy and get him defense for New York. He does have already offensive weapons going to New York, though. I mean,
but the thing about this is the thing that the Jets did, their defense is what everybody is clamoring about. The fact that the Jets' defense was what was going to give Aaron Rodgers that, they're going to make it to the Super Bowl, they're going to win, because the Jets' defense is ready to win right now, and they draft a decent defensive player.
They drafted, what's his name last year? Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, the receiver. And then they signed, who was it, Valdez Scantling or somebody, one of them old Packers?
No, God, no. Alan Lazard.
Lazard's.
It was Lazard.
I didn't know if it could have been Jordy Nelson. I would have bought that if he was talking about. I knew it was an old Packer that they brought in.
Donald Driver.
Get him going. And they have a good running back. So they have some good offensive pieces. They really felt that the quarterback was the missing piece on the offense. So, they solidified the defense. I can't blame him for that, but it was kind of funny that, what's really been getting Aaron's goat up in Green Bay the last couple of years is not drafting any weapons for him. And the trend continued.
I thought they would have went O-line. That's what I thought they were going to go O-line. They went offensive line. They went outside linebacker. I was like, wait a minute.
So who drafted? Who do you think had a good draft? Who did you like overall? Like draft, or was there a certain pick you said, yes, that's a really good pick, or yes, I think they had a good draft?
I'm gonna say this. I don't know if it's pandering, but I really think they made a statement. A statement was made by the Baltimore Ravens. I think them going with Zay Flowers, wide receiver, they said, hey, bro, Lamar Jackson, we are sorry. We should have paid you. This shouldn't have waited this long. We're going to draft a wide receiver. We're going to get you a wide receiver in free agency. We're going to give you the weapons that you've been begging for. I think the Ravens hit a home run this entire offseason, not only just the draft, but in all things considered. And there's also rumors.
No, there's not.
No. You did not wait for me to finish. I know I made a meme about this, but no, this is completely different. There are rumors that Lamar Jackson's contract is structured in a way that they still have cap room to get D Hop. They're trying to find a way to get the
I thought you were going to tell me.
like,
I thought you were bringing the Antonio
I know
Brown.
you were talking about right. Yeah, I know. God, Jesus. Oh man. But yeah, there are talks that Baltimore is negotiating with Arizona, trying to get D Hop as well, and that would be a dangerous combination in Baltimore. I think if you could find a way to get D Hop, Odell Beckham, Zay Flowers, Mark Ant, that could be and a happy Lamar Jackson. With those, forget what all those talking heads talk about. I would pick Baltimore Ravens to win it all next year if you find a way to get D-Hop. DeAndre Hopkins, oh yes. I'd pick them immediately if they get DeAndre Hopkins.
They aren't going to win. They aren't going to win their own division.
Wow. Okay.
The Bengals needed help on defense, and they got it. Now, I thought they would address the offensive line, but evidently they're confident with what they got. But the Bengals went defense throughout the draft.
Yep, they got Miles Murphy, DJ Turner, Jordan Battle, which is good because you address needs. But fellas, if you look at it, sneaky on the low, who had a good draft, I would say Scottie D, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because
I agree.
Because they got, they got Kenny Pickett some help.
Yep.
Getting Broderick Jones, they got Joey Porter Jr., then they got Keanu Benton, Darnell Washington, they got another linebacker. And then they went
Joey Porter was seemingly a first-round talent they got in the second round. So that was
So I mean, just think about it. Like, I'm reading it on the Sport News. I'm gonna read it to you real quick. The analysis. The Steelers crushed the first draft with GM Omar Khan. They feel their two biggest needs: a pass protector for Kenny Pickett and a big cover man to help Patrick Peterson. Jones and Porter were both first-round talents. Washington is a great number two. As a blocker, and the Wisconsin 1-2 punch of Benton and Herbig will provide Badger T.J. Watt with upfield support. So they plug gaps, and I'm going to tell you, man, the Steelers are going to make some noise. They are really going to make some noise.
Sound good.
Yeah, so the Steelers, they just had it was awesome. It was awesome that they had a good, because I'm looking at Sporting News, you got Steelers, they got an A+. The Philadelphia Eagles went and drafted all of Georgia.
The Philadelphia Bulldogs, you might say.
Here's the thing. It's hard to grade drafts without any of them being on the field yet. I remember last year we talked, you guys asked me, did I like the Cowboys' first pick, Tyler Smith? He was an offensive lineman from Tulsa. And I said, it's not a flashy pick, but until I see him play, I'm going to hold off being mad about that pick because he looks like a beast on film and they say his big problem's holding. Well, if you help him with technique. And then this year, he was a beast. He had a great rookie season. But I hate saying this. To me, it looks like the Eagles hit it out of the park on this draft. It really does. As a Cowboy fan, I hate this to come out with this because at the end of right a week or two after the Super Bowl this year, I was saying the Eagles could be short-lived because they had lost a bunch of players. They had some gaps in free agency. They had lost coordinators. So it's not a slam dunk that the Eagles are going to be right back there again this year. Well, then they went up and stacked up on defense. I mean, that Ringo, the defensive back they got in the fourth round, was a pretty good player. I mean, he was, he was an impact when they won the national championship a year or so ago. Georgia defensive line, Georgia linebacker, Nolan Smith, Tyler Steen, offensive line from Alabama. I mean, they're drafting big time players. These are, they don't need to address quarterback position and receiver right now because they're pretty stacked right there. But what they needed, they went out and got, man. I give them a lot of credit. And I hate seeing Jalen Carter on the schedule twice a year now.
Yeah. Well, hell, how you think we feel? We got to damn chase B. John Robinson ass twice a year.
True.
Yeah.
That was, like I said, that was a reach. But once again, that dude is the truth.
Yeah.
35 touchdowns in 2 years. Bijan Robinson is that dude. Now, let me put this right here real quick, because we're talking about first round and all the hype and everything like that. The guy that I initially wanted to be QB1 for the Carolina Panthers, the guy that everybody had high on their draft picks. Before I even mention this guy, I'm going to mention the losers of the NFL draft, and there's 2 of them. Instagram and Reddit.
Uh-oh.
Instagram and Reddit lost terribly at this draft because of this guy that I'm talking about. Will Levis not getting picked at all in the first round. A Reddit post said that he was going number 1. Vegas, this odds shifted from 4,000 to 400. Him flexing his muscles on Instagram, and Will Levis sat in Kansas City.
Yep.
Not getting picked at all.
He got genoed. He got Geno Smith. But Eddie, if you remember, I said that last week. I said there was like 3 teams in the top 10 that needed quarterbacks, and there were 4 quarterbacks, and one of them could slide all the way into the second round, and he was the one. Now, before we move on to the other topic, I gotta bring this one up because I listened to what you said last week. You said you would take Anthony Richardson number 1 overall, and that to me sounds ridiculous because this is a guy who had a 52% completion rate. He threw 9 picks in 10 games last year. Bad mistake, Colts. Bad mistake to take that dude. He is going to be a bust. He is going to be an absolute bust. You can't tell you would rather have him than Bryce Young. Honestly,
yes.
God. No, you don't.
Yes,
no,
I
you
would.
Don't.
Yes, I would.
That's why you're not the GM. That's a terrible idea.
That's exactly why I'm sitting right here, right now, having trouble with my green screen and my shoulder missing in this because I would rather have Anthony Richardson.
No, you wouldn't. He's going to be all right. Well, one of these days, and it's probably going to be next year because he's going to be playing next year. You're going to say, Scottie D, you were right about that dude. He's a bust. He is an absolute bust.
I think Anthony Richardson's going to be ridiculous.
He is going to be ridiculous. He's going to be terrible.
I think Andy's going to be dangerous. That backfield with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor is going to be is going to be unpredictable. And
but at some point, he's going to have to throw it. If he's playing, he's going to have to throw it. And who knows where he's going?
Shane Stitching on the handle it. Florida had no wide receivers last year.
How do you know they weren't getting the ball? The other team was getting them.
Oh my goodness!
The turf was getting them. He only played 52% with 9 picks. That's 4 overall. Oh man! Yeah.
This episode is coming out on May 2nd, 5/2/23. We're recording this right now at 5/1/23, 9:30 p.m. Mark it, post it, put a pin in it, because we're going to come back to this episode 202 and figure out who was right and who was wrong.
It ain't going to take long. It ain't going to take long.
Here we go.
All right, we got one more guy we got to ask real quick. We got to ask Greg Olson. How do you feel about the Colts taking Anthony Richardson? Greg Olson, how you feel?
Yeah, I think he's really athletic, but yeah, he's also really terrible at the same time. I think it was a bad mistake to go that high on a player who basically his heads or tails whether the ball's going to be completed.
Yeah, that's shout out to our correspondent Greg Olson.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Bryce Young coming to Carolina, though. I might even put the pads back on and go out and try to catch the balls from this young man. I'm really glad Anthony Richardson's not going to be the Carolina Panthers quarterback because he's going to be terrible. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode number 202 of the Sports Bros podcast. We're not done yet. We're nowhere near it.
Nowhere.
Coming right back, we'll be talking about NBA and NHL playoffs, especially the NHL playoffs, because two teams projected to win it all went home, and one team won the first series ever in franchise history. Find out who did what right here on Sports Bros Podcast.
Hey Sports Bros, this is Button. Congratulations on your 200th episode. Now get your asses back to work.
As promised, we are back here once again at the Sports Bros Podcast. Eddy Kool, the Almighty Be Live, the Money Man Scottie D, and another set of sports are in the middle of the playoffs this year. The NBA and the NHL, a whole lot going on. As I alluded to earlier, two favorites in the NHL, they got sent home packing, and there's a new kid on the scene, namely the Seattle Kraken. But first, fellas, let's go ahead and get into this whole NBA thing, fellas. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It seems like to me that this playoffs, this year's Miami Heat, looking like the bubble Heat. They just beat everybody on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. But it's still early, so give me some thoughts, fellas. Give me some thoughts. I've not really had a chance to watch a lot of basketball, but from what I heard, like LeBron James and the Lakers, they gave Dylan Brooks they gave a proper send-off, of 40 points. And then Steph Curry just did Steph Curry stuff, just out of his mind. Scottie D, give me something NBA related right now.
This is a very strange year because, as you mentioned, in the NHL, the defending champions went home in the first round, as did the team that had the best season in NHL history. While in the NBA, a number 7, 5, 6, 7, and 8 have all advanced in the NBA Finals. Incredible that this all has happened in the same year. Now you look at the Heat and the Lakers, and they are not teams that you would typically consider to be a 7 and 8 seed. Miami was pretty much a shot away from advancing to the finals a year ago. And maybe just because they're not on TV that much, or at least I haven't seen them, they get kind of overlooked. Maybe, they're one of their better shooters. Hero is out. So they're not getting, I don't know why they were seated so low. I don't know why they didn't have a better regular season. Matter of fact, I think they lost their first playing game, did they not? And they didn't have to win.
Yep. The Heat lost their first playing game. Yep.
They had to play their way into the 8th seed, and then they dispatched with Milwaukee. And now the Heat are going to have a little bit of the same issue that Milwaukee had, and that is a star player with an injury, because that was a nasty ankle roll that Jimmy Butler had the other night. And he's a player that relies on his quickness. He's not your typical NBA 3-point threat right now, like a lot of these other players are. He's a guy that likes to get to the basket, pull up jumpers, play that kind of game. And I like that style of play, and I hate seeing that. So he's going to be questionable going forward. But man, they brought it to the Knicks in Game 1 on Sunday afternoon. And then Golden State, they're not your typical, what were they, 6 seed?
They're 6 seed.
Yeah.
They're 6. Yeah, they were 6, and the Lakers are 7. And the NBA, boy, they are thrilled to not have.
Oh my God!
Instead of getting Memphis versus Sacramento, they are getting Steph Curry versus LeBron, and they are slobbering all over themselves. Their mouths are watering over this matchup. I tell you though, I picked Golden State to go to the finals. I picked Milwaukee too, so my Eastern pick is out. I'm done on that side. Golden State, to me, though, as much as they've had trouble on the road, they did win a road game early. Then what did they do on Friday night? A closing out game at home, and they got smoked. And then on Sunday, it took a 50-point effort by Steph Curry. You don't usually see him having to carry that team the way he carried them on Sunday, but he had to carry them pretty much single-handedly on his back to get into the position to play the Lakers. Whereas the Lakers right now seem to be clicking. If you get that version of Anthony Davis that we had in round one, they will beat Golden State and might beat them convincingly because they don't have anybody inside that can match up with AD. I mean, Looney will go in there and bang a little bit, and Draymond will go in there and bang a little bit, but the Lakers are clicking. And Golden State, to me, doesn't look like they're clicking. Klay Thompson hasn't looked really good in the playoffs. Poole has not really looked good. He seems to be moping. I think they're having some issues. They had I read a report that Steph actually had to like give a pep talk to the team about kind of putting your ego aside, not worrying about your minutes and just getting in there and playing. If he's doing that in the postseason, then some things are not very smooth right now with Golden State. So I think they could be ripe for the picking, and we could get LA and probably as bad as the season they had before the All-Star break, and probably the Lakers are in a position they're looking pretty good right now. I think with this matchup, just because it just doesn't seem like Golden State is clicking, and it's looked to me like with the win over Sacramento, as soon as De'Aaron Fox hurt his finger, that series kind of changed a little bit too. I mean, they just didn't look like they were ready. And, you see this in the NBA all the time, like team that's really good. They're up here. They get taught a lesson by a veteran team in the postseason. You almost need to get beat to learn how to win going forward. And I kind of think that might've been the case, but that was one of Steph Curry's crowning jewel moments in the postseason on Sunday. I mean, but can you expect him to score 50 a night to get past the Lakers? I don't know, B-Live.
You can be part of this corporate machine and conglomerate that hypes the heck out of the Golden State Warriors and Los Angeles Lakers. I don't care. Neither one of these teams are winning it all. I'm going to say, I said it before.
Oh, the
I'm
Nuggets.
going to say it again, and I'm going to stick. Man, the Nuggets are. Who's stopping the Nuggets? The reason why nobody's talking about the Nuggets is because they're like, it's not hype enough. It's just the reason. Well, who we talk about? The two-time MVP or the Nuggets should be what everybody's talking about.
Whose voice are you doing there? Whose voice is that?
I don't know.
Do that voice for me again. Do that voice for me again.
I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed right now because I'm watching everybody hype up the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers, and nobody, and I mean nobody, still to this day is giving love to the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are going to win it all. They're going to win it all. There's not been one chink in the armor. There's not been one.
They could.
Like you tell me right now anything bad about the Nuggets. Anything.
Their best player's white.
You know what?
You're so damn Scottie D, you so damn childish.
Yes, I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to bait me into something. No, the Nuggets are clearly by far. And what makes it work? Like, do you understand this roster that Denver has? There's 4 players on their starting lineup that can score 30. Like it.
I'll tell you, Murray looks incredible right now.
Yep. Looks like we're about to get Bubble Murray all over again, and he was
Yeah, he looks really good.
That's why I'm like, I almost even forgot about him, and then I was like, I doubled down on the Nuggets winning it all, and then I watched them play this. I'm like, they're even better than what I thought, and I put them to win it all. Man, come on. It doesn't matter what happens between the Warriors and the Lakers. They both have weaknesses.
Yes, but they're more interesting. That's the more interesting series.
I don't see. There's the problem with sports and media. The sports and media right now. I don't care about what's interesting. I care about who wins.
Obviously, because you're watching XFL. But we had Steph Curry go against LeBron James 4 years in a row in the finals, and now we have them again playing each other again. That's very interesting to me. LeBron's new team against Steph's old team. That's interesting. And you know what else would be interesting? If Golden State beats the Lakers, it'd be interesting to watch them go against Kevin Durant and Chris Paul. That would be interesting. And if the Nuggets win it all, great. It's just not as interesting. It's just not. And it could happen. It's just not as interesting.
We've done this for 202 episodes. We've been boys for 18 years. I never thought for the life of me that you would be one. I'm not even looking at the camera because I can't even look at your face right now because I'm disgusted. I never thought that you would be the one that would go for what's interesting as opposed to what's good, what's better. Like you're a walking hypocrite right now because what's interesting is the 3-pointer, the 3-point shot, and scoring more. What's more interesting is LIV golf over PGA.
No, it's not.
Because there's more money involved. What's more interesting is the XFL with 1, 2, or 3 points decided.
No,
as you get into no.
It's not more interesting.
No. At this camera because that's exactly how you sound right now. I'm not going to allow this. No. You are not going.
The XFL is not interesting at all. It's terrible.
Every week I dedicate at least 2 hours of my time watching highlights of the XFL to produce the Sports Bros Top 5. I look at the XFL.
I don't know why you do that.
You know why I do it?
It's and you do a very good job. I commend you on it.
But you turn around.
Much appreciated, Bilal. Much appreciated.
You said on the air. I still can't look at your face right now because you'd rather see the Golden State Warriors,
yes,
or as opposed to the Denver Nuggets that are just playing great basketball through top to bottom. You'd rather see interesting rather than good. I'm disgusted. I'm appalled, and I don't even know who Paul is on this show.
If the Nuggets get by Phoenix, and it's not 100% that they're going to get by Phoenix because they're still pretty good too. If the Nuggets get by Phoenix,
100%. Phoenix does not have a bench.
Okay, if the Nuggets play the Warriors,
I will. 27 years old, playing 40 minutes. There's no way.
Very true.
The Suns are not making it.
You might be right.
They might. They
might. And if that happens and they play the Warriors, I will root for the Nuggets. I'm rooting for the Lakers regardless because I'm just a Laker fan. But who do you think is going to get better ratings? The Warriors and the Lakers, or the Nuggets and the Suns? I mean, one's more interesting than the other. Doesn't mean that I'm saying the Nuggets aren't any good. They're awesome. They're really good. I mean, they're the number 1 seed for a reason. Aren't they? Are they number 1? Yeah, they're number 1 seed.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're really, really good.
I didn't think that Scottie D would really be on the show talking about ratings.
I just tell you who's more interesting. And Lakers,
Eddy Kool and
Lakers and Warriors are more interesting for sure. Just like Celtics 76ers are probably going to be a little bit more interesting than Knicks and Heat. And I'm watching all. I haven't watched a lot of NBA this year. I watched the Knicks clank off throw about 25 3-pointers off the rim and the backboard on Sunday. That was really interesting. So I'll be watching.
Disgusting.
I'm rooting for the 76ers right now. I want to see them come through.
I want to see that too. I want to see
Joel Embiid to heal up and get in there and make a difference and send the Celtics home. That's what I'm rooting for.
I want to see that too. Now I can look at you.
Oh, Lakers and 76ers now. That would be interesting. Embiid against Anthony. Boy, would that be interesting. That's what I'm rooting for.
There you go. We've talked about this before.
What? I'm just saying, I think it would. You know what? Sometimes you got to see something different from time to time. Right? So here's let's liken it to this. You
Be
know,
careful, Eddy Kool. He's about to have
y'all
a
gonna get me kicked out of my apartment right now.
No, be live. I'm
a different.
Be live. Hold on. I'm gonna liken it to it like this. Sometimes you got to do something different. You know how every year you go to that one relative house for the holidays, right? Be it Thanksgiving, Christmas, or whatever. Knowing that they can't cook worth a damn. Mashed potatoes ain't got no salt in it. Turkey dry as hell. Cranberry sauce just looking like giblet gravy looking like a rainy day in South Carolina dirt mud. Sometimes you got to change it up from time to time.
Right, change it up and let's get LeBron in the finals for a change.
You got to change it up from time to time, man. And the thing about it is, after a while, you get tired of going to that relative house. Y'all be sitting in the car. Because y'all be sitting in the car.
Like, I need you to change. We got to go to the.
Hold on, because you be sitting in the car like, these jokers can't cook. I don't know why we going over here every year in and year out, wasting our damn time.
Speaking of jokers, the Nuggets, jokers, Nuggets. Y'all, boy.
Now see the Nuggets. That's nice too. I like that, B-Live. I like that pick. I like that too.
Yes. And by the way, do you guys know what ACC team had the most players drafted in the NFL draft this year? Right away,
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was. Good call, Eddy Kool.
I'm just guessing.
All roads lead to Narduzzi. Anyway. I just figured while his blood pressure was up, I might as well just go ahead and mention it while the blood pressure's already high.
While B-Live Kool's all Scottie D, go ahead and hop into the NHL real quick.
Well, I was not expecting to see Boston go down like that. That is an epic collapse. And I didn't watch much of it because they were up 3-1 and cruising on into the next round. And then with a minute to go, they were a goal away and a minute away from advancing and could not keep Florida out of the net and lost in overtime. That was stunning to me. And then just an hour later, the Kraken are up 2-0 on the Avalanche and completely change the complexion of all the NHL players. But so wait a minute. So we got the Carolina Hurricanes. They're waiting. Are they waiting on the winner of Jersey and the Rangers? That's all right. As we're recording after 2, Jersey's up 2-0. So that's we get in a Game 7 in the Eastern playoffs.
Well, my blood pressure is through the roof.
Over the Nuggets.
Eddy Kool, as the head of creative, part of the deal of me being on the show, I get unlimited medical. So I'm going to apply that after this episode. B-Live,
I think I got a week of therapy I can give you. I've got no finish. I'll give you a week of therapy.
I'm gonna give you a week of putting my foot in your ass.
One week on me, brother. 1 week on me. Hey, May is Mental Health Month. Nothing but love for you. Nothing but love for you.
Man, the Boston Bruins, the president. 10 years in a row, the President's Cup winner does not equate to the Stanley Cup. And this one, I know. I've already spoken to a few people that are Bruins fans that are near and dear to me here. The best regular season in the history of the NHL broke every single regular season record, and to go down in overtime in Game 7 against the Florida Panthers, was up by a goal. Florida pulls the goalie, empty net to score and go into overtime. And let me say, into overtime, man. Playoff Stanley Cup playoff hockey is just a beautiful thing. Oh my! You have no clue. You literally for them to even think about putting the the NHL bracket. No, we're not. You know what? The sport, we're not going to do a bracket for the NHL. Nobody knows. The NHL doesn't even know who's going to win. Man, oh, this is pandemonium, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, come on, Hurricanes. Let's win it all, baby. Let's win it all. It's a beautiful thing.
Are they the ones that do the dumb clap thing? Or isn't that the Hurricanes that do that silly clap thing over the head?
You got one more time.
Let's get Button.
Meanwhile,
one.
Be like, hey, be like. Meanwhile, the Penguins are at the house chilling.
Very true. Very true.
The Penguins are at the house chilling. Watch your mouth. Your MOUF mouth. Watch it.
Saying like he chose violence for this episode. I don't even understand. Like I don't think I've ever done anything wrong to him. Like, why does he come at me like this? Like
Philly beat Boston. What? They're up 1-0 in the series. How about that?
Yeah, man. They said Jason Tatum and James Harden had like 30 points apiece.
Wow. Like I think I mentioned that James Harden, you get this version of James Harden, he's going to be dangerous.
Yep.
But I mentioned that in the episode before, but I still don't understand why Scottie D he continues to press that button. And like I don't understand. Like I think
let's move on. Let's move on because we got 3 minutes till the Nuggets play.
Like he keeps
3 minutes till the Nuggets come on TV. I'd like to.
The doctor, I don't understand why he keeps doing this to me. Like
we have three.
Hey, Scottie D.
He wants an illicit response from me. He wants
looking at my phone.
The Nuggets are coming on 3 minutes.
Like
no, hit it.
Hey, Scottie D, looking at my phone. Guess what time it is?
He wants to talk about the dumbness that the loudest stadium in
for the choices
in
the
NHL.
With that being said, Button, hit it.
Be like,
he comes out so we clap. That's what we do with the storm surge. We are the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't understand why he keeps coming at me.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you stay with us through this train wreck of an episode, thank you. And with that being said,
pressure points.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and Scottie D. Watch your ears.
Ever so lovely.
Ms. Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. You heard the woman, the choices of the voices. We ask y'all a question, you give us the answer, and hopefully Be Live don't lose his mind. I'm just hoping that he doesn't lose his mind. Hopefully he went and drank some water, took a bite of a tater chip and woosah and got it together. Peppermint oil works well for temple massages, Be Live. It really does, all right? Scottie D, with that being said, what's on tap for this week's choices of the voices?
I think we're talking the NBA, and I asked to think of your favorite player and your favorite moment or one of your favorite moments from their postseason career. We had a couple dumb answers, but mostly we had pretty good ones there. Eddy Kool, what did the people say?
All right, Lonnie Doxey, he just left a graphic of Michael Jordan gliding from the free throw line, and that looked real all-star game-ish. And not playoff-ish, but Michael Jordan, playoffs, enough said, just like he said. So enough said. Really cannot argue that. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. All right. Then Scott Donnelly said Lonnie Doxey is actually not enough. That's not a postseason game. The question asked for a favorite moment from your favorite player in the postseason game, and you gave me a picture of a dunk contest. And Paul Ward said, Scott Donnelly, don't mess with Scott like that. All right, so here we go.
So you know where he's going though?
Straight in there.
Penalty box.
Straight in there.
Read the question.
Yeah, move over Platinum Mike and Bob Kraft. All right. Coming up next, we got Trey Dizzle. He said, I wish Dak Prescott was a great basketball player. Scott Donnelly said, good answer, Trey Duke. All right. Joey Buckets, Joe Gafkin. He said,
finally, we get a good answer here from Joe.
All right. He said Michael Jordan flu game. Michael Jordan 63 against the Celtics. And I better whisper because I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. Michael Jordan over Craig Elo in Cleveland at the Richmond Coliseum. Still stings. It don't stings, it stings. All right.
Yeah.
Mike Davis said, oh man, this is easy. LJ is my favorite of all time, and the 4-point play against the Pacers was the best thing that I remember. So that was Larry Johnson.
Grandmama, yeah.
Larry Johnson. Hey, I don't know if you remember. He used to walk around in New York and do this right here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, Larry Johnson. I get it. What a hell of a player, man. Career.
I liked him too.
Oh man, I loved him. Brian Calvert, he said there are a lot of players that I like, but my favorite game has to be Magic and watching him play for the Lakers in the 1980s. Also like how Reggie Miller took down the Knicks in the postseason. All right.
Reggie had some bad moments in the postseason against the Knicks.
Yeah, Reggie
3-point ball. Yeah,
Reggie was a butcher knife killer, man. JR, brother to the show, he says LeBron James block of Andre Iguodala in Game 7 in 2016. Then Kyrie hitting the shot for the game to give the Cavs the championship. And Michael Jordan the Michael Jordan pass to Paxson for the championship in '93 over the Phoenix Suns, which means Michael Jordan deferred the shot and said, "Here you go, Paxson," and he made a three.
Delivered that one.
Huh?
Yeah, he delivered that.
Yeah, he delivered that one. And from the looks of it, that's all we got for the choice of the voices. Unless I missed any, B-Live. Did I miss any?
Yes. Just a real quick, and this is my fault. I need to get my life together. I usually put the choice of the voices answers on a nice little sheet that I send off, and I fell asleep because I'm tired and I'm old. But from the Sports Bros family page, Tom Wynn comes through with Walt Clyde Frazier with 36 points and 19 assists against the Lakers in Game 7 of the 1969-1970 finals. Of course, it was in black and white with antennas attached to the house. But yes, Walt Clyde Frazier. Jeffrey Lewis comes through. He said the Warriors' almost undefeated playoff run. I want to say this was probably this wasn't the 73-9 year. I think it was the year beforehand. The first year was Kevin Durant.
That's what I was thinking too. The first year they got KD, probably, yeah.
And then he made that comment right as Steph Curry put a 50-piece on the man. Oh mama, here goes that man. How's Mike? What was it? Mike Green goes bang. Yep. Yeah, that was Steph Curry doing the thing. Oh, Matty Ice Martin Tracy come through, says Finals MVP Larry Legend. Of course, he had to go with the Boston Celtics. He remembers watching every game against a Hall of Fame stacked Lakers squad. He was a sophomore in high school in Boston. The whole city was electric, and Bird's run was just amazing, where he averaged 27 points, 14 rebounds, and 3.6 assists in the 1984 NBA Finals. Larry Legend. Yes, sir. So I want to throw that out there as well.
All right. And move right along real quick. Scottie D, playoff moment. What you got?
Let's see if you guys can answer this one for me.
Okay.
You guys know who my all-time favorite NBA player is?
Magic Johnson.
Yes. And what do you think was the best moment?
That time where he had to play center because Kareem got hurt against the 76ers.
Mm-hmm. Very good. But actually, fast forward to 1987 in the Boston Garden, Magic Johnson threw up the skyhook to beat the Celtics and give the Lakers a 3-1 lead. That is my all-time favorite NBA moment, period. Magic Johnson beating the Celtics, because the Celtics were the defending champions and the Lakers had a home court. They won the first two, then lost game 3 in Boston. That was the 2-3-2 format. So they needed to win one up there. And that was it. That was the one they won. And that was the first time I can ever remember Magic throwing up the skyhook, because Kareem was on the team and he was the skyhook legend. So that was my answer. Be Live, who you got?
I'm going to play the same game you played. No, I'm really not going to play the same game. I'm just going to throw out some stats real quick because you mentioned Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson had five rings, right?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant had 5. LeBron James has 4 rings. Kareem has 6, right? Has 6 rings. Michael Jordan has Kareem has 6. Kareem has 6. Michael Jordan has 6 rings. This guy that I'm going to bring to the table, and this is actually, I haven't mentioned a lot about him. I mentioned him in passing from time to time. Here you go. But this guy has 7 rings. And Scott, you should appreciate this guy as a Lakers fan, and you absolutely have to mention this moment because he's literally my favorite player. This is the guy I idolize playing basketball because I wasn't the guy that dribbled the ball a lot, but I was the guy that found my spot behind the 3-point line, and
you were deadly with it.
Deadly with it. And this guy absolutely was
Big
deadly
shot.
with it. And that's why, yes, sir, big shot, Bob Robert Horry, 2002 NBA Finals. Kobe Bryant drives to the lane, misses a layup. Shaquille O'Neal gets the rebound, misses the putback. It gets tipped out to Robert Horry. Swisher sweet. Ayo. Robert Horry was it. Always found a way to be in the right place at the right time. That's the reason why he has 7 rings. And just literally that was my dude. He never filled up the stat sheet, but he was always one pass away, dropping the bucket. Big shot, Bob. Yes, sir. Eddy Kool, what you got?
I'm going to take the answer of our brother JR, aka Smoothie Star Walker, and I'm going to say the block by LeBron James and then the shot. Because let's just say LeBron lived up to his promise. Hey, I'm going to come to Cleveland. I'm going to win the championship. And that's what happened. And the thing about it, it was an impressive fashion because they did it in Golden State. They did it on the road, one of the most toughest places to play. That's when they were at the Oracle. The old Oakland College? Yeah, they had the old Oracle or whatever.
And they were down 3-1.
And so that just capped it off, man. And so it was just like that was an epic comeback.
73-9.
Yep.
73-9, the best ever regular season.
The best ever regular season team. And the Cleveland said, best of all time, hold my drink, watch this, look at him. We're going to be the asterisk. We're going to put a little asterisk by that. So, that's that. Scottie D, what's on tap next week?
Well, we've been talking a lot about the NBA and into the draft. We're going to ask this very simple question. Who's going to win the World Series this year? We haven't really done much baseball preview ourselves. We're a month in. So let's talk a little baseball next week on the choice of the voices and see who the people. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be the Pirates. I'm not going to pick them. I'm going to give you a little spoiler.
Best team in the You're going.
You're right. The Bucs are going all the way. All right. That's going to give us something to talk about next week, Eddy Kool. Who's going to win the World Series this year?
Yeah, real interesting conversation, man. This baseball season started off pretty good, pretty fast, pretty furious, and pretty
puzzling.
Puzzling.
Yeah. Very puzzling.
Puzzling is like Tampa Bay gets hot. Pittsburgh gets hot.
The AL East. Tampa Bay is number 1. Baltimore is number 2. Toronto is number 3. The Yankees are number 4. Boston's number 5. And all 5 teams are above 500. It's crazy. It's pandemonium.
Wow.
It's nuts.
And the Pirates.
The Pirates
they're playing the Rays this week. They're playing the Rays.
The Pirates are the best team in the National League. The Pittsburgh Pirates. They're the only team that can afford my salary here at the Sports Bros Podcast. A nab.
A pack of nabs. Oh man, you got to make sure. Hey, my mama, she loved the nabs, man. She loved the orange and the peanut butter. Oh man, matter of fact, when I get off here, I'm going to the store to get a pack of nabs, and I'm gonna ship you some too, be live. All right, All right, that's been it for Choice of the Voices. Coming up, we got a round of pepper coming right here at you at the train wreck that you love. That you love.
Woo-hoo.
The Sports Bros Podcast coming right back at you.
This is your boy Trey Dizzle wishing Eddy Kool, Be Live, and Scottie D, the Money Man, a happy 200th episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. May there be thousands more. Speaking of 200, did you know you're 200 times more likely to catch an interception if you're playing against Dak Prescott? Have I ever mentioned to you guys that Dak Prescott sucks? If you guys have another 200 shows, I'm probably going to say Dak Prescott sucks another 200 times. Probably more than 200, actually. Well, Dak Prescott sucks. You guys have a good show.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
All right, you heard a woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we biggity bounce, it's time for a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. Here to engage, enlighten, educate, entertain, and all that other good stuff, all right? With that being said, I'll go first. All 4 of them, that's right. On this day in history, back in 1939, New York Yankee Lou Gehrig ends his consecutive games played streak, and the Yankees beat the Detroit Tigers 22-2. And at the time, the record was 2,130 consecutive games, which would be broken later on by Cal Ripken Jr. Over to you, Scottie D.
Wow. Well, I'm going to give you a pepper pretty much for all Pittsburgh stuff tonight. I did want to mention one thing, though. I didn't get to do pepper last week, and I wanted to compliment you on that one you did about the Staples Center, it's not the Staples Center, but the changing of the floor thing. Because you guys you were right. They're probably, I think the Kings are out now too, right? Didn't the Kings get eliminated?
Yeah.
What a pain in the butt that they had to change from basketball to hockey back and forth. So that was actually a really good pepper for me. And you needed it because your first one was about curling. Anyway, so in the land of Pittsburgh, there's a gentleman by the name of Dick Groat who passed away last week at the age of 92. And I don't know if you guys have heard of Dick Groat, but he was the National League's most valuable player with the Pirates in 1960. And that was the year that the Pirates would go on to win the World Series over the Yankees on Mazeroski's famous walk-off home run. He actually teamed with Maz as a double play combination, Maz being the second baseman, him being the shortstop. But what's interesting about Dick Groat is in 2011, he was inducted into the National College Baseball Hall of Fame and became the first person ever to be admitted to college basketball and baseball Hall of Fame. He played basketball for Duke. He finished his career bat in 286 in his major league career, and he spent a lot of years as the voice of Pitt Panther basketball. So this was a rare guy who really was covered a lot of sports in a big way. You don't usually have quite that type of success and clout in 2 sports. But Dick Groat was a local legend here in Pittsburgh, and he passed away on April 27th at age 92. So happy trails, Dick Groat, and thank you for the memories. Be live. Over to you.
I appreciate that. Nice. Well, my first pepper point is going to be an apology. It's going to be an apology. Not for me, of course, because I do what's right and I don't need to apologize about anything. But this actually is an apology from Jason Tatum to Janet Jackson.
I know this is going.
Jason Tatum, he wants to reach out to Janet Jackson and apologize because he said he did not get the job done in time. And so therefore her concert tour and her concert that was supposed to be on Friday in Atlanta got pushed back a day because Atlanta was double booked. If Atlanta would have lost to the Celtics in Game 5, the series would have been over. and Janet Jackson would have been on stage and done her thing. But because Trae Young knocked down a three-pointer with 2.1 seconds to beat the Celtics, they had a game 6 scheduled on this past Friday, and Janet Jackson's concert, and all of her raving fans had to wait one more day. Sports rules everything, even over the great Janet Jackson, and we apologize to her. Eddy Kool, the ball.
Let's wait a while before she's still fine. All right, on this day in history, back in 2015, fellas, I damn near forgot about this one. Floyd Mayweather Jr. defeats Manny Pacquiao on points in 12 rounds in a world welterweight unification fight that shatters all financial records for a boxing match. Yeah, I remember where I was. I was in Atlanta at a bar watching this fight, and it was all right.
It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't that great of a fight.
No.
You boys want to guess where I was watching that one?
Overtime Sports Cafe.
Yep.
I am on fire today. I'm on fire.
I think that was our second biggest night ever. The first one being Floyd Mayweather against Oscar De La Hoya. That was the craziest night we ever had in overtime history. But it's too bad boxing can't get their act together and get us good fights like the UFC does. You know, UFC's they've got Henry Cejudo, Triple C, and Aljamain Sterling fighting for the bantamweight title. That's like not even like one of their biggest hype fights, but that's a great fight coming up this week. Meanwhile, we're waiting on Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford for years now, the same way we waited on Pacquiao and Mayweather. That fight was so overdue. Anyway, let me throw another cool Pittsburgh thing at you. Brian Reynolds of the Buccos,
I know him.
Our star outfielder, was asking to get traded over the winter because he was probably sick of losing and sick of not getting paid. Well, the Buccos have agreed to an 8-year, $106.75 million contract through 2030. These Buccos mean business. They locked up Brian Hayes last year. Now they locked up Brian Reynolds. He's only 28 years old, and he's in his prime years, and he's playing good baseball. These Buccos, maybe they are going all the way. Be live? Do you?
That almost
that's the first. The first time the Pirates have ever doled out $100 million contract.
They done messed around and spent some damn money. Ain't that something?
History.
That sounds like a Braves contract, because we ain't trying to pay people $300, $400, $500 million. That's a good valued contract. Speaking of my Braves, and speaking of contracts, and speaking of some dumb breathe.
He about to do it. He almost did
I'm with you on this one, buddy. I'm with you on this one.
This year, you know how any sport, they like to celebrate different things with different props and things or whatever. I think that you got turnover chains and different, all kinds of the most recent one I've seen is Light the Beam in Sacramento, and the Warriors are just disrespectful for what they've been doing to the beam. And I saw one that said "Light the L." I was like, "Oh wow,
that's funny." That's funny.
Picture it, but it's just a big L in the sky. That's terrible. But this one right here though. My beloved Atlanta Braves have been sporting their home run. They've been celebrating home runs with the big cap.
Love it.
Big hat.
The big cap. I think who's for the Commanders? What's my dude's name? That
Brian Robinson.
Yes, Brian. A friend of his started a company.
I am on it today, fellas.
Yes, you are.
I'm back. I'm in the gym and I'm back to taking my vitamins. Go ahead, be live.
Well, Major League Baseball, and specifically New Era, that is the licensed producer of all of the caps that all of the Major League Baseball players wear cease and desist.
CNMD.
Because they don't produce the big hats. They don't make money off of them. They're not going to allow anybody else to profit through the blah, 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 blah. The Atlanta Braves, per Major League Baseball, are no longer allowed to use the big cap to celebrate home runs.
Stupid.
So what I'm going to do on the Sports Bros podcast is I'm going to support. I'm going to push that. It's dumb, but it's funny, and that's exactly what it is. It makes me laugh. I'm gonna find a way to get me a big cap, and I'm gonna wear it the next time I ever have any money, which could be a long time. But they're gonna get my support. I need to know the official name of the company because we are going to support them here at the Sports Bros podcast.
It's very possible that big cap would just probably fit you regular.
Wow.
And me, I got a big head too. I got a big old noggin myself.
The thing about it is that it's okay that it might fit me regular. It might fit you regular, but it won't fit that. It won't fit that 5 head that comes from.
Oh my goodness.
You opened this door. You opened that door.
Eddie, I'm sorry you got hit by some friendly fire there. That was my bad.
This close to wearing a hat for this episode.
The ball.
You asshole. Got a few birthdays, fellas. I could be like, I can't stand your black ass. On this day in history, back in 1975, David Beckham, also known as Mrs. Scary Spice, ain't that her name? He married her. He was born on this day. Scary, horrific,
one
terrible,
of them spicy,
posh,
paprika, garam masala, tikka masala, curry spice. Anyways. David Beckham was born on this day back in 1975. He's 48 years old. He has 115 caps, 58 as a captain. B-Live, is caps goal or a game? Is that what a cap is?
I believe caps are games.
Okay.
Like international. No. I used to do that whatever. I think that no, those are goals, I believe.
Okay.
I am one of.
As our research department, B-Live checks it out. All right, so we got a we got a birthday there. Also born on this day, Thabo Sefolosha.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that dude.
Yep, he was a Swiss basketball player. He was born on this day in 1984 in Vevey, Switzerland. Probably Claudio Castagnoli's neighbor. And former Atlanta Braves catcher Jared Saltalamacchia was also born on this day in 1985. And didn't he marry his teacher or something like that? Something weird. Anyways. And Kyle Busch, NASCAR driver, he was born on this day in 1985. So we got a bunch of birthdays. Great stuff here at the Sports Bros podcast. Fellas, we had an off-air conversation. Oh, go ahead, B-Live.
I was correct the first time. Caps is appearances.
Okay.
Games for like for an international team or something like that. So caps is how many games you played for a team.
Gotcha.
Okay. I was right the first time and I doubted myself.
Things happen, man.
Off guard.
Things happen.
Big
Things happen.
Cap.
Big cap. Teachy cap. Before we get out of here, fellas, can we all agree that the WWE draft is pointless?
Yeah, it's crap.
Pointless. Not needed. You got a big new belt to determine the new champion. Meanwhile, Roman got the belts. So that's like taking like a second place ribbon, knowing it don't mean nothing. But anyways, that's either here nor there. That's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast, episode number 2.
Where you going?
What do you mean?
Where you going? You have never ended pepper ever. So let's try that again.
I'm sorry. It was my third and final pepper point. Wait a minute. So it goes back to Scottie D. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm out of practice. See what happened when we do a 2-person show this time of the week.
See how you start bragging how sharp you were.
Right. He been sharp also, and then pulled this mess.
Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, my final pepper is actually it's a double point because I got emotional twice from sports this past week. The first time, you guys probably have seen this, it was a moment that went viral, was in the 6th round of the NFL draft when the Dallas Cowboys selected Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State, whose father, Chris, is a scout for the Dallas Cowboys. And Chris was outside of the room when they decided that they were going to go ahead and make this selection. And when he came back in, they said it was kind of like a surprise party. He didn't know what was going on. And they said, we want you to make the call. And he made the call and said, son, how'd you like to come to work with me next week? And oh, man, I got goosebumps just thinking about it. I mean, just the joy you must feel that your son gets drafted in the NFL is one thing, but to be able to bring him into your job, oh man, great moment for the Cowboys.
To make the call,
to make the call.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I got emotional watching it, and so my favorite football team had an emotional moment, and my favorite baseball team. So I don't know if this story has gotten too far out of Pittsburgh, but there's a young man named Drew Maggi who's been in the minor leagues for 13 years and got brought up to play for the Pirates last week. He sat the bench for the first couple games against the Dodgers. They finally bring him into the game. His parents are in the stands, and he steps up to the plate and he strikes out. And it was still a cool moment for him because he had not had a major league at bat prior to that. 13 years in the minors, and had been in a couple different organizations. Well, on Saturday, they let him pinch hit again, and excuse me, against the Nationals. He got an RBI base hit up the middle, and it was like the Pirates had just made it. It just qualified for the postseason. He was emotional. There was a lot of Pirate fans in the stands. The dugout was going crazy. My dad and I were just sitting there like, yeah. And I didn't want my dad to see that I was getting like a little misty while this happened. But 13 years, and I think he's 34 years old. That's a long time to wait to get your first hit as a Major League Baseball player. But just think of how much that must have meant to that kid. And then they sent him down the next day. Anyway, it's a moment you can never take away from him. His first hit in RBI and one crack of the bat on Saturday against the Nationals. Cool moment. A couple cool emotional moments. Sports, man, they cut to your heart sometimes. Be Live, take us home.
Absolutely, man. That I did not know that for the Cowboys that his dad made the call. That makes it even. That's amazing. And now I get to ruin the mood entirely. Recently, the city of Boston, Bingtown, has been known for a lot of sports history, moments, and everything, all of the above. You got the Red Sox, you got the Bruins best hockey season ever. You got New England Patriots and everything they've done, and all of the sports history. And then you even have the Boston Marathon. You had the bombing that brought a lot of nostalgia and moments behind that, and respect to those that lost family members in the bombing years past. Well, here I come to ruin all of that, because there was a different type of bomb that was left in Boston during the Boston Marathon this year. Because during the marathon, one particular runner had been running 26.2 miles is distance.
No.
And I can't make that my 35 number point. You know?
I'm feeling where you're going, I think.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Well, 26.2 miles might be a long way to run, especially if you have a difficult situation running through your inside. And so there was footage home security footage of one runner that could not make it across the finish line. And
those damn Ring doorbells. Those damn Ring doorbells.
Decided he needed to relieve himself during the race by taking a dump.
And in closing,
finish this. This over here now.
What else is there to say? He took a dump in somebody's yard during the Boston Marathon. There's nothing else to say. There's no backstory to it. He had to go number 2.
He's a whiz. That's a great story, B-Live.
It's time for the dump button, but what a thing to do.
Holy crap.
Exactly. Crap. Dump. Perfect words to describe what happened. Oh my Lord. Yes. He couldn't make it 26.2 miles. He had to take a dump. It was an emergency, and it was caught on a doorbell camera, home security video. I didn't even look up his name. I just say, you know what? I'm just going to just tell this story and call it a day. Thank you all for playing. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yes, sir.
Happy Derby weekend, everybody.
I'm about to go take a dump myself.
Forte, 3-1 favorite.
And then closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Be a blessing. Be a burden.
Don't be a burden.
Yeah, be a blessing. Don't be a burden. Don't be going to people's yards, taking a dookie, dropping deuces. Don't be drinking no coffee because you know that run through your stomach. If you're lactose intolerant, don't do it. All right, just don't do it. Hey, if you want to be on the Sports Bros podcast, like you heard Miss Button and Trey Dizzle, let us know. We'll gladly replay your voice messages here on the Sports Bros podcast. Keep it short because we ain't got that kind of time. All right. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. We love you. Take care. And just
live take us out of here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do that. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Yes, sir. And congratulations to the newlyweds, Abe and Christian Woodard. Congratulations to y'all. Love y'all. Thanks for having me. They're both Alabama fans, and Clemson beat them twice in the national championship. Aha!
I bet you that nasty bum ain't wipe his ass neither. Hey, it's Eddy Kool here from the Sports Bros podcast. And do you want some more of the Sports Bros podcast in your life? Wait a minute, don't answer that. The answer is yes. And I know you want some more of the Sports Bros podcast in your life. Do us a small favor. Go to the description box, click our Linktree link, and you'll see all the links on how to follow the Sports Bros podcast. Once again, thanks for listening.